Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to create video number 35th. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can add style component in reactjs. This video is very interesting for those who need to write CSS and JavaScript on the same page. So let's get started, guys. So I need to tell you, I have uploaded the previous project on this my GitHub repository, React.js complete course. There you can find dynamic styling with CSS modules. So you can just download all these files and install the npm and get started. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can install the style component and how you can use on your page. So guys, just you need to go on this style component. If you go on the Google, you can write style components like this, and you can go on the first link, stylecomponent.com. So here you can see how you can install, you can see how many vendors are, customers are using this, and a few of them are very big names. So you can see that they all are using this style component approach. So all you need to do, you can copy this to install the style component on your project, and just I'm going and stop the project, and you can pass this command and click install. So it's getting installed. Till then, I can tell you this is a really good style component library which you can use on your page. It makes your life much easier if you do not need to write the separate CSS classes, and you need to write the same in the same component. You need to write the CSS and JavaScript. So this actually library is for you guys, right? So it actually includes the best bits of CSS, ES6 and CSS, right, guys? So it's get installed. So let me just run it. I think it's installed successfully. So if you go on the package.json, you can see here now we got the style component version 5.3.6, right, guys? So it's installed successfully on our page, in our project, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain you how you can add these styles. So all you need to do, we can follow their documentation. It's very simple and well-written document. So you need to import this style component library in your on your components. So I'm just going and going to import it. So I'm going to commit this previous ones. So I'll say import style from style components, right? So once I imported it, now what we are going to do, we can see yes. So now we can create the check the elements on which we need to actually attach this style components. Actually, like they have given example of button. This button variable here is now a React component, right, guys? So on whatever component we are going to apply this style component, it is going to be a separate React components. So we can check this how we can apply this. So const and now I need to write button. I can say button, and then I can say styled component, style dot button, style dot button, and need to pass two backticks. And those backticks I need to pass the CSS which we have already written, and here I need to pass this, right? It's done. Now I'm not going to return this button because this is a separate component, so I'm going to return this button, right? So I'm going to commit this and check it out. Here we can see the button. We are returning the button, but I was not able to see the CSS applied. Why? You know, to check the reason. Okay, let's look good. I need to remove this with and sign because it will indicate that this actually indicates style.button is button. When this button get focused, it will run this, and I need to remove this. I need to remove this, and I need to remove this one also. So now if we go and check it out, it runs fine. Wow, great. So this is how we are implementing the style components. It's very simple and easy. You can see here. We are applying, this is a separate component now, so we are applying the CSS on this button and we are returning that thing, right, guys? So now, what if we have multiple items or if we have multiple items on the page? I'm going to show you that thing in the separate example here in this goal input file, because in goal input file we have all this labels and this text box input field and all stuff. So I'm going to commit this changes. I need, because I'm not going to work it with this, and I'm going to import this. So I'm copying this import code here from here, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to say const, and I'm going to apply that thing on the complete form div, because this div contains all the items. So I'm not going to apply because I have already applied on the button. So I'm going to say div form control. So now I need to pass the name. So styled dot div and this backticks. So what is this backticks actually? You can see here this backticks. This unusual backtick syntax is a new JavaScript feature called a tag template, right? Literal. So previously, if we pass the function name like this, it's fine. But now new JavaScript have given us this approach that we can pass the backticks, and it's considered as a function. In this, we can pass all the fields, all the properties of the CSS, and work on it. So it's very easy and simple way of working. So all I need to do, I will copy this CSS. I will pass here, right? It looks fine. Then what I need to do, need to remove with pseudocode. So first of all, I will remove this because, and then this one with, because this will indicate that this form, and under that there is a nested element, right? So under this form control, there's a nested input, right? So under this form control, there's a nested input when it's get focused. So like this, right? Okay, cool. So now go and let's check it out. But all we need to do first, we need to remove this CSS module approach. So insist of dev, I'm going to write here this and this, right? So now if I go and on the website, if I look here, it looks good and it's working same. But if I click here, it's not, the second class is not attached, the invalid one. So what we can do, we have multiple ways. So I'm going to use this one. It's simple and easy to use a way, and we can easily implement it as well as. If it's not valid, then I'm going to show invalid class, binding invalid class with that, right? So now if I go and check it out, so you can see here it's working fine, right, guys? But this is one way, but I prefer you do not write in this way. It's not very unique way or very good way of writing the code. All you can do is you can just pass the properties to this styled component, and you can name the property like invalid, and it's if it's valid or not. So this invalid is a property we can use in our components, right? So now what can I do? If I can say border color gets changed, what how we can write the code? You all know that we need to pass the dollar sign, and here we can pass the JavaScript expressions. So so what I need to do now, if I said it's the name of the property, and if I'm going to say if it is true, in that case, what needs to happen? In that case, it needs to pass the color change color, right? So I'm going to say if it is true, then I can say pass red. Otherwise, pass, and I can say border color to black, something like this. So I need to write props here, props and props dot invalid, right? So now go and check it out on the page. It doesn't apply. Why it doesn't apply? It seems like, yeah, okay. So if you refresh it, if you have items, that looks good, but if you do not have item, it's change its border color, right, guys? So this is how we can pass the properties to this objects in the style component, and we can make changes on multiple objects. Now let's just get example that if we have one more text box. So in that case, we can simply pass the property to that text box, so that can be uniquely identified like this here. If we have two fields here, I can say test, right? Test, test value. So now I have two values here, but I need to change the label of this value. So I can simply write props here, property like mm, primary, and I can use this prop here in this object, and I can make changes to that, right? But I'm not going to do this. But you can find this example in detail about from this website. They've given a simple example on this. If you have two buttons, separate buttons like normal button and primary button, how you can use them, how you can differentiate them on the same page. So this is very simple code. All you need to do, you can pass the prop name like primary here with this button, and you can write the code and CSS here in here. It's very simple. So don't get worries, guys. So let me continue here. If I change the this border color, if I want to change the background color, I can do that as well as background color, right? So all I need to do is background, and I can pass this same thing here. So if I go here, check it out, it didn't implement here. Why it didn't make the changes? We need to check it out. Okay, and we need to say color. Probably that is the issue. So now if I go again and set, I think, yeah, we need to remove this color because we already mentioned, and we have not didn't pass the semicolon here. So now if I go and check this, so it show the difference, right? Yes. So, but it doesn't looks good. I need to pass pink here. It would be more look fine, and I can say transparent here. It doesn't looks good, right? So now it's much better. We can also apply the same thing on the label here. All you need to do is you can just copy this code from here, and you can pass it here. You can pass the color here and write down this code, right? So this is how we are going to implement this style component. It's very useful when you are working on when you have the large projects, and you need to write the CSS and the JavaScript on the same pages, so that it doesn't make confusion for the other developers to on which file you need to make changes. But I also preferred the last topic which we covered, the CSS module approach. This is also one great approach if you are working with styling in React Java. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.